We have returned. We are back doing the cover song series. I was gonna say bad cover songs. This is actually what we're gonna do today. Actually, isn't a bad cover song. It's actually a fairly good cover song. But I wanted to discuss it in context with the original song because I think the song itself and the two versions of it actually kind of do something sort of magical that I kind of related to, so I was going to talk about it. So what we're talking about is Morgan Waller's cover of the Jason Isbell song "Cover Me Up," and I was kind of fascinated by his cover because it reminded me of the differences between the two songs are kind of the difference between a young man's expression of what love is and what an older man's expression of what love is. So, we'll start with Morgan Waller's cover first, which I think is an excellent cover. But what I love about his cover from the perspective of a young man's declaration of love is that he tends to minimize some of the bigger points in the song or some of the more emotional punches in the song that as a young man you would do. So like a lot of the mistakes that Jason talks about in the song about the drinking and the mistakes he made with in Richmond, the way Waller deals with it in the performance that's going to be linked in the description of this video is it from a vocal point of view it gets minimized because for a young man singing this song or declaring that he loves someone, it's really that first that I really love you and it's hormones and it's love at first sight. It's all those cool butterfly like I'm so excited things about falling in love when you're like 15 or 16 or 20 or 25. What I like about the cover too is that he has a really good voice, so that's always good. I like that he has that kind of that drop on kind of the ends of verses that like this really like kind of thing that he does, and so that's kind of that's cool. Which kind of it's a throwback to kind of earlier country artists like in the mid '90s, where it wasn't necessarily. It was right before pop country became a real big deal. It's like kind of Alan Jackson, kind of Seminole Wind, kind of that whole John Anderson, kind of that whole. There's another guy he reminds me of too in that way. But those are two guys that came to the top of my head. And I was like, okay, I can see where Waller has that kind of appeal because he sounds like a young version of that thing from back in the day. And so that's good. Good guitar player. I like the fact that his version is stripped down. And the version that I'm going to link of a corresponding version that Isbell's done is more of a stripped down version. Waller's cover of the song is absent the backstory. And the backstory is kind of what makes the whole song, which is where we're going to kind of begin to transition into talking about Isbell's original version of that song. The interesting thing about the Jason Isbell song for me as a fan is, I discovered these two songs backwards. So I discovered Isbell's version first, and then I stumbled into finding Waller's cover. So the thing about Jason Isbell's version of this song, or the original version, part of what gives it weight is that he has been telling he loves to tell a story about the song because the story about the song is important. So he wrote the song as a tribute. He wrote it for his wife, Amanda Shires. And so there are things that are in the song that have weight for him as an older man who met a woman when he was a mess. And the interesting thing about falling in love, I mean, the interesting thing about falling in love, I guess, from 25 on is that, first of all, you're a mess. I know I was a mess from 25 to 30. I was an absolute mess from 25 to 30. So, meeting people when you're a mess, really no matter what age you are, like when your life's kind of spun out of control, it becomes this thing that you can't see. Like you physically see it. Like you see this person cares about you, and they think you're a good person underneath all the drama, the layers of stuff that comprises kind of who you are when you're a mess. And they decide, or they make a choice that they want to care about you despite the fact that you look pretty worthless. And that was where Isbell was at the time. Jason Isbell was and it's been part of his recovery as a person that's had problems with drinking and drugs, that this woman kind of saved his life. Like she kind of, and it doesn't just come up in this song, and it really doesn't. I think that whole album is kind of a testament to their love story, but it comes up in If We Were Vampires. But in this song, he talked. Richmond on High is about a certain situation that happened between those two. There's this big declaration he's going to be done drinking, and he's serious about it and real about it, and he's not giving up on it. And that the part that Waller, one of the parts that Waller or Wallen, I'm not doing anyway, minimizes in his version is that the old lovers say they thought it'd be me to lead you back home. And when I was thinking about this earlier, I was like, and not everybody has this. It's not because it just doesn't happen to people. And I will say that probably when it happens when you get older, that you have a collection of exes that they might not want to be with you. They might want to be in a relationship with you, but they at least care about you enough to where they're like, well, hope nothing bad happens to them, or hope they find the right person, or hope that they get better from whatever they're struggling with. And that's part of what that line talks about. And so there's a gravity to every performance I've seen that I've been able to see of him doing this song, whether it's solo or with his band, or especially with Amanda around, where it's always that, and this is the other difference I think to the song too. When you write a song for somebody, when you're trying to get across to them, hey, I care about you, I'm planting my flag, this is what we're doing, it takes on a different tenor, and you add stuff to it, like, because when you hear Jason Isbell's version of it, he just belts it, whereas Morgan Waller's version of it is kind of understated, it's real smooth. It's the difference between trying to impress a girl and trying to reassure someone. I think that's the way I can probably best explain it. If you're listening to Morgan's version, it's like, okay, I really need you to like me, and I like you, and we're gonna have this moment. And with Jason Isbell's version, it's the sum of hard work is the way it feels. So I think it's a good cover. I think that I think the cool thing about this cover version is that I think it's going to go vice versa. I think more people will discover Jason Isbell's work over time, and more of Isbell's fans will discover more gets work overtime. So I think that's going to be cool. So I'm going to link both these videos in the description box of this video, and we're going to get back to doing more of these cover versions as a staple series for over here at Mixtapes and Mistakes. So if you think of any other cover songs that you think I should do, the next one I am going to do, just to put the next one in there, I'm going to talk about D'Angelo's cover of the Kate Bush song "This Woman's Work." It's one of my favorite covers, and I probably should have, if I haven't done it already, I probably should have done it a long time ago. But definitely needs to be discussed, because I think it's unappreciated crossover hit that I think people missed out on. So that's it. Peace and Afro Grease. We'll catch you on the flip side.